Hey everyone, it's Angela Allen. Welcome back to the Handmade Homestead and day 28 in the Every Bit Counts Challenge. The challenge is put on every year by Three Rivers Homestead. And the idea is to put something away, no matter how small, every day in the month of August. So 31 days of adding to your pantry, freezer, food stores, and we have been documenting every day so far this month. So welcome to day 28. As you can see, I have plenty to do today. A very hot day here, so I'm going to opt for a couple of easier things just to get through the heat. The rest of the week is going to be beautiful. So for today, since I don't have time to tape everything I'm going to be doing, I'm going to show you what I have next to me to take care of, and then I'll show you some parts of those processes as I go. So first of all, these are green onions. I plant a green bunching onion specifically for the green tops. I don't use onion bulbs in my kitchen. And so for these, I've dehydrated a bunch. Those are fine, but I really prefer to use them straight from frozen. So I will snip these off in little thin diagonal strips and throw them in freezer bags, and I use them all the time when I'm cooking. So I'm going to get some of those done. The rest of this bowl is full of Swiss chard. I have a ton of really nice bright light Swiss chard. It's one of my favorite, or probably my favorite green. So I do plant a lot of it. We're going to get that processed. That will go in the freezer. I'm going to chop it up, throw it in freezer bag. And underneath here, I don't know if you can see, but the rest of this bowl is full of green beans. Now you all know, if you've been watching my videos, I have pickled them, I have dehydrated them, I have frozen them, I have fermented them. I've pretty much done everything with green beans, and I've even removed almost all of my plants from the garden except for one trellis of Blue Lake beans, which continue to provide for fresh eating and then some. So down below, tell me what you do, how you process your green beans for later storage. So that's what we're going to do with those. Some of them are just going to stay on the counter. And then I have a couple of tromboncino squash. This one, we found it on the ground. It had fallen. And I'll show you what I do with odd vegetables that I dehydrate, as long as they're dog safe. I keep a jar next to my stove. I don't know if that looks backwards to you. I'll check when I edit. But these are soup vegetables. There's probably a dozen kinds of vegetables in here. That's what I do with all the extra dehydrated vegetables. So I'm not shy about any extras. I throw them on the dehydrator just so I have this ready. I've also been known to add this to our soup or stews, anything long cooking, because the vegetables rehydrate better that way. So that's when you hear me talk about dehydrating extra vegetables, that's what I do with them. Well, I am going to do onions first and get these greens washed and drying off a little bit so I can chop those up. The stems, I sometimes ferment them. Sometimes I cook them separately, like a green bean or any other vegetables you'd use. And sometimes I just leave them in with the leaves. I love to have pre-prepared greens because I use them in my own version of an Italian style spinach pie, which my husband absolutely loves. So having extra in the freezer, always a good bonus for me. I like to work with greens when they're fresh and crispy. They're a lot easier to wash and a lot easier to chop up. So I'm going to put these all in a mason jar with fresh, cool water until I'm ready to process them. This is the bag of green onions that I already keep in my freezer. I just pulled them out. I'm going to chop up these and throw them right in there and toss it right back in the freezer, so I'll have them at my fingertips whenever I want to use them. All right, let's get these tromboncinos chopped up. I've washed them really well. Let's start with the small one. We're going to use my little candy dandy little kitchen chopper. Again, I bought this on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. I've gone through a couple of them. I'm not sure if this is my second or third one. I do use it all the time. This is about a 1/2 inch cube screen on it. It also comes with a 1/4 inch screen for 1/4 inch dices. Very handy, really great when you use a dehydrator because it makes things even in dices, and so when you put on the dehydrator it dries really evenly too. Super easy to use. The piece is kind of tough. I sometimes have to bang it, but these went through really easily. And it turns out that big one was really pithy, so I just tossed that to the chickens. I didn't even bother cutting up the big ones. I just tossed those right into a vacuum freezer bag. And so these are the green beans. I'm just going to go through and snap the ends off of them, but I'm going to throw them in a bag and throw them in the refrigerator. Not decided what to do with them yet, and I'm hoping that some of you guys are going to leave me some good ideas for tomorrow. Well, that wraps up my day 28 of the Every Bit Counts challenge. The green beans will go in the fridge. I've done some tomatoes, all that Swiss chard, the squash, and the green onions. See you tomorrow for day 29.